Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to turn all of these ingredients into a Mediterranean quinoa bowl. So if you're interested, keep watching. So we want to get our quinoa cooking right away so that while the quinoa is cooking, we can prep all of our other ingredients and then the bowl will come together in perfect timing. So in my fine mesh strainer, I have a cup of quinoa right here. You have to rinse quinoa before you cook it because if not, it's going to have an extremely bitter taste. So you want to give your quinoa a good rinse until the water runs clear. Just takes about 10 or 15 seconds. Give it a good shake. And then I'm going to be cooking my quinoa in my Instant Pot. I love this tool. It's been a lifesaver. Before it, I could not cook rice to save my life or quinoa, so it's been great. So I just add all the rinsed quinoa into here. And then in my measuring bowl, I have a cup of filtered water. It's a cup and a quarter of that. So that just goes right into the bowl as well. I'm going to set this on my Instant Pot to pressure cook for just about a minute, and then it's just going to slowly release for 10 minutes after that. But if you don't have an Instant Pot, you can absolutely just cook this on the stove and just cover it and let it boil for about 25 minutes or so. On my cutting board, I have a quarter cup of cashews. They're kind of big pieces right now, so I want to make sure that I chop them up into small little bite-sized pieces. So I'm just going to run my knife through them a few times. Just back and forth until they become nice little bite-sized pieces. And then we're actually going to toast these on the stove. When you toast nuts, it brings out their natural flavor and they become extremely delicious and the oils come out too as well. So we're gonna move these chopped cashews right to my saucepan right here. And then we're going to transfer this pan over to the stove and we're going to set it on medium to low heat, and we're gonna keep an eye on these because nuts roast extremely fast and they can burn super quickly as well. So we're gonna take this to the stove right now. Set my stove to medium low heat and just kind of stay by the stove. This is not a good time to, finish laundry or call your mom or anything like that. You definitely wanna stay near the cashews at this point. You can keep them moving around in the pan as well. As soon as the cashews become fragrant, that's when you know they're ready. So as soon as you get that nice little nutty smell that fills the kitchen, you can pull them off. It only takes about 2 minutes or so. While the quinoa is cooking, we're going to prep all of our vegetables so that once it's done cooking, we're ready to eat. So I have one cucumber here. I've already peeled it. We're gonna slice it down the middle and we're actually gonna take the seeds out. The reason I like to do that is because the seeds contain a lot of water and the only moisture that I want in my bowl is going to come from the dressing that we make a little bit later on. So you just make a nice clean cut down the middle of your cucumber. And then in my little trash bowl right here, I'm just gonna take my spoon and just de-seed the cucumber. You can see all of the water is going to come out and it just takes a few scrapes right there. And then we flip the cucumbers onto their flat side so we have a nice flat surface to cut. And then all we're going to do is make little 1/4-inch slices of the cucumber. They're gonna turn out to be little half-moon shapes, which I think is super cute. Okay, so the cucumber is all cut up in this little bowl right here. The next thing we're gonna move on to is our red onion. I have 1/4 of a whole red onion right here, and we're just gonna turn it on its side and make super thin slices into the onion. You're gonna wanna make these as thin as you can so that with each bite of your quinoa bowl, you get a nice thin slice of that red onion. The final 2 vegetables in our bowls are sun-dried tomatoes and kalamota olives. Kalamota olives are optional. If you're not a fan of olives, you can go ahead and just leave them out. So here I have a few julienned sun-dried tomatoes. It's actually a 1/4 cup of each sun-dried tomatoes and olives. I'm just gonna run my knife through these sun-dried tomatoes just to make them into smaller little bite-sized pieces. Just gonna break them up, run my knife through them a few times. The recipe that I'm making serves 2 people. So you can eat it for dinner and then have it for lunch the next day, or you can make it for someone special. What I love about this dish is that it's great for meal prep. You can prep it on a Sunday and package it up for your meals throughout the week. It stays really well. That's why I love it so much. All right, sun-dried tomatoes are in, and now we're just gonna run through our knives through the olives, and then we have one more vegetable after this. The final vegetable is our avocado.
Free shavacadoo!
This is one of my favorite avocado hacks, and it makes it super easy to get a perfect fine dice. So you're gonna wanna hold half of your avocado in your hand, and then with your knife, extremely carefully, you're just gonna wanna make really long slits from the top to the bottom of the avocado. And then you're gonna turn your avocado and make slits that would basically be the width side. This is creating a crosshatch so that when you run your spoon through your avocado, it's gonna create a perfect dice. So you just run your spoon through the avocado and all these perfect little pieces of the avo come out. Super easy hack, one of my favorite things to do. And you always wanna make sure that you're putting lemon juice on your avocado if it's gonna sit for more than 2 minutes. So just a quick squeeze of lemon just to make sure that they don't oxidize. Give these a toss, and then we're almost done. The final component of this Mediterranean quinoa bowl is a homemade dressing. So in my bowl right here, I have the juice of 1 lemon, which is about 3 tablespoons. I also have 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. This is gonna go right into the bowl. I have a teaspoon of oregano. This really brings the Mediterranean flavor. And then I have a half a teaspoon of cracked black pepper and a half a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm just going to drizzle in 3 tablespoons of avocado oil. You can use extra virgin olive oil, whatever vegetable oil that you like to use. And you're gonna slowly wanna drizzle this in. I'm just eyeballing 3 tablespoons. And you wanna whisk while you're drizzling. This is going to emulsify the dressing. If you were to just pour the oil in, just like how I did with the vinegar, the dressing wouldn't be a homogeneous mixture. So the mixture has come together. It's a really nice pink color. We're gonna let this chill in the fridge for a little bit, and then we're gonna assemble the entire quinoa bowl. In my bowl here, I have about 3/4 of a cup of our cooked quinoa. As soon as the quinoa was done cooking, I just fluffed it with a fork to make sure that it stayed nice and airy and light. And now we get to assemble our bowl with all of our amazing ingredients. So I'm gonna add a few slices of this cucumber. I like to arrange my different ingredients around the edge of the bowl so that you can see everything that's in it. And now I'm gonna add a few slices of my red onion. Go in there. I'm a big red onion fan, so I add a little bit normal than most. And then a few slices or dices of our avocado. This brings a nice smooth texture to the bowl. And then our kalamota olives. I just add about a tablespoon of those to the bowl. Tablespoon of the sun-dried tomatoes as well. Those are like little jewels. They add a nice little sweetness to the bowl, which I love. We have our toasted cashews that are chopped up, and they were nice and fragrant. So I'm just gonna sprinkle those right on top of the bowl so I get a little crunch in every single bite. Perfect. And then I have some cubed up feta. I use vegan feta, but you can use whatever feta that you like. And I'm just gonna pop that on one corner as well. And then I also have some fresh arugula. I like to add this right on the top, just right on top of the bowl, right there. I add, about a good size handful. And then on the side right here, I have 2 to 3 tablespoons of that homemade dressing that we made. And I'm just gonna pour this all over the bowl. I mentioned that this is a great food prep or like a meal prep meal. If you are meal prepping this, be sure to keep your arugula out, because if you add the arugula with the dressing, it's going to wilt. So just on the day of when you're gonna eat it, add your arugula and you'll be fine. All right. All right, and now it's time to taste. You want to make sure you get a little bit of everything in your mouth. So I got some quinoa, got some avocado, got some feta, got some onion right here. All right, perfect. The best part about this dish is that it has so many different textures going on. You have the crunch from the arugula, the creaminess from the feta and the avocado, the real brightness from the onion and the cucumbers. Once again, my favorite weeknight meal, my favorite meal prep meal. This is great. You guys are gonna love it. If you make it, let me know.